Hey everybody, movie reviewer next door here, and I know, it's been a while, it's been almost a week since I've recorded a review, but I'm going to be reviewing a very special movie tomorrow, or the next day, we'll see, I'm pretty sure it's tomorrow, but um, tonight, kind of on a whim, I wanted to watch a movie, so thought I might as well review it. I've been reviewing pretty much every movie I've seen, so I'll be reviewing Sworn to Justice. Revenge has never been so sweet. This is an action thriller directed by Paul Maslach from 1996, and it stars Cynthia Rothrock, Tony Lobianco, Kurt McKinney, Mako, Walter Koenig, and Brad Dourif. Now in this film, after masked attackers kill her sister and young nephew, a female psychologist takes the law into her own hands by acting as a defense witness by day and a ruthless avenger by night. So, what did I think of Sworn to Justice? Now, this is one of those films where I can see what could have been, and I'm a little disappointed, but there is a lot to talk about with this one, actually. I do think this is a decent film. If you're into this type of film, I think you'll know what I mean, though. Like, if you watch a lot of Cynthia Rothrock's movies, you'll know why I say this is the odd one out. Now, am I saying it's a bad movie? No. I think it's decent. I think if you're going into it for a decently interesting story, a good leading performance from Cynthia Rothrock, and some alright fight scenes, then yeah, you'll get that. And I'll explain after I talk about the cast. Cynthia Rothrock as Jana. She's a defense attorney by day and avenger by night after her sister and nephew are found dead in her house. I think this is one of Cynthia Rothrock's best performances, because you usually don't watch a movie of hers for performance. You watch because she's really good in the fight scenes. And here, the issue is that Art Camacho's doing the second unit directing, which I'm not the hugest fan of his action direction, but I'll get to that. But she does a great job in this role, actually. She has some really nice scenes of acting. There's the scene with Brad Dourif, I think, is her best scene of acting in the film. The scene with her friend. She does some really brave stuff in this role, and it's really nice to see. And the fight, there's some really good fight scenes with her. Tony Lobianco as Briggs. He's fine. He's the cop that's like looking after her after the accident and all that. Kurt McKinney is Nicholas. He's a copywriter who falls in love with Jana, which, yeah, it's a bit abrupt, but I don't care. Kurt McKinney is very attractive, and he's suave. You know, he looks like a leading man, but he also kind of looks like a soap star. Probably because he was on Guiding Light for a while. So, like, but yeah, like, he works as a romantic lead, and he actually gets in on some of the fight scenes because he's a martial artist. Didn't you know? Mako as Mr. Young. He's kind of he's a character that has like maybe four small scenes talking to Jana. I like Mako. It's always nice to see him in some of these types of movies. Walter Koenig as Dr. Breitenheim. He's like a psychic he's a psychologist, I guess. And he like helps Jana like get to know about the psychic thing that she has. He's only in one scene. Probably he was probably not a super cheap actor for them to get. He was in a bunch of the Star Trek movies. I don't know who he played in the Star Trek movies. He might have been on the show. I don't know. I don't care because I don't watch Star Trek. But he was fine. And Brad Dourif as Teddy. He has one scene, and he's really good in that one scene. You get Brad Dourif to play a very interesting character. So, here's the thing. This film is very it's interesting because you have this plot of the psychologist who like after being injured, she hits her head, she can get these like premonitions, or she can see what happened in the past or what will happen in the future when she touches certain items. So she touches a knife from the crime scene, she can see who was holding the knife, she can see things surrounding the knife. It's not an original idea. There's a TV movie from, well, the TV movies after this, but A Deadly Vision. There's the show Medium that's kind of a similar-ish thing, and instead it's dreams. Ghost Whisperer is kind of a similar thing where she gets, again, from her dreams about the ghosts. But this film, the way it does it and the way it portrays all this, I find very interesting, where it kind of hard cuts in between her like holding the item and switching to the past footage, and it's like completely different music, completely different. I liked that. It was like really good editing, really good sound mixing there. But the thing that irritates me about this movie is that there are so many things that just don't fit. And I don't know if it's because of this director. Apparently he's only... This is the only film he's listed that he's directed. He did additional directing on a movie called Kiss Till You Do Goodbye. He was an actor in Out for Blood, and he was the writer of Out for Blood, Red Sun Rising, Black Belt, Ring of Fire 2. All four being Don the Dragon Wilson films. And the thing with Don the Dragon Wilson is, I did like Out for Blood. I didn't like that the poster showed me a shotgun and he didn't blow anybody away with a shotgun. Very disappointed. But the fight scenes felt kind of sluggish. They felt kind of meh. Like, and it's not that I need every fight scene in every movie I watch to be lightning fast, but you get Cynthia Rothrock to do those lightning fast scenes. Even in Undefeatable, which I don't know if I say Undefeatable is better or worse than this. She's not as good in Undefeatable, acting-wise. But I feel like it was more of a straight-up action movie. I don't know, just I'm very confused with some of the... There's some really odd choices in this film. There's a fight scene where she like goes into the back of a convenience store, and there's these guys like holding up the guy that owns it in the back, and it starts playing this like Mexican, like, I don't even know what the song is. They just start playing like a Mexican dancey song, and it's like there's like cartoon sound effects, and this is right after she's like realized that, oh, she can like psychically, you know, find out what happened with certain items. And I feel like that really messes with the whole tone of the film. Excuse me. If the comedic tone shift was only in like certain small parts, I'd be fine with it. But with the way that it's done in this, it feels like it's two different directors working on this at the same time. Kind of like how Undefeatable, like that director, Godfrey Ho, would constantly have two films being made at the same time, and then he'd mash them together, and then they'd barely resemble a film, or they'd be very chaotic because you don't know what the hell is happening. This kind of feels like that at times. There's a very... Either a lot of stuff was cut out, which I think might have been the case. I don't know. There's a Vinegar Syndrome Blu-ray, but I'm not sure. I'm not willing to spend $30 on a movie that I think is just decent. Definitely not. But it feels like big swaths of this movie have been cut out. Like, at least, like, 10 minutes. And this movie's already an hour and 37 minutes, which is, like, customary. Hour 30 to hour 40 minutes for an action movie. But I get the feeling that, like, maybe the producers stepped in or something. I can't tell exactly what happened. But it's a bit of a mess. But like, I'll just say what I don't like about it. The music constantly is a mixed bag. The score was done by I have to look at my written review. John Coda. Yeah, there were certain parts that worked. The title sequence song was fine. The flashback music, like the music it would cut to with the women going like ah, it worked very well for that tone, but like the music that plays during the fight scenes just doesn't work because you're supposed to believe this like woman who's like, very angry, she's going out for revenge and all that, and the music just doesn't fit that. It takes itself not seriously enough. And the usual thing is that movies like this take themselves too serious. Here's the exact opposite. It feels like it feels like two directors butting heads constantly. One wants to make a like Jackie Chan type of movie, and the other wants to make a dead serious Bruce Lee type of film. And it just doesn't work. You can have a revenge film that has small bits of humor. The Death Wish movie did that, or the Death Wish remake with Bruce Willis did that with the cops, played by John Ortiz and the other guy, I can't remember his name. You had it in Peppermint, the frickin'... No, it's Kimberly Elise. It was Dean Norris and Kimberly Elise and Death Wish, and then John Ortiz and the guy in Peppermint. Like, those didn't feel so like, it didn't feel like they stopped the movie in its tracks to be comedic. It was just a small like bit of relieving the tension, which was needed because both of those movies have very, serious subject matter that they're dealing with, and they have a lot of heavy lifting to do to kind of ease the audience a bit. Which not every revenge movie needs comedic elements at all. Not really at all. There are many revenge movies that I love that don't really have comedy, but a lot of the ones I really like do have small moments. This film, it feels like it's entire scenes. Like, again, the hold up at the liquor store, there's like a fart joke during that scene. There's the really goofy music that plays when she first meets frickin' Kurt McKinney's character Nick. Like, the first time she meets him, like, it plays this like Romeo and Juliet love ballad type of music, and it just doesn't fit it. And there are a lot of people who say that this is like one of Cynthia Rothrock's best films. I don't believe that. If you said one of her best performances, I would agree. I would 100% agree. I think she kills it in this film. Like, early on in the film, it kind of takes a bit to get there. But once you're like halfway through the film, you realize, oh yeah, she's like training her acting muscles. She's getting better. And I was happy to see that. It's great to see an actress, especially a martial arts actress, she's like one of the only... Of that time period, she's like one of the only martial arts leading ladies in film. I don't think that's it kind of gives the film a bit of, novelty to it, because think about it, like back then it wasn't a big enough thing to have like a female action star. Like, yeah, you had female action stars. You had Gina Davis, you had frickin' Gina Rollins and Gloria. You had them, but it wasn't like a big enough thing. I'm not going to say like feminism, whatever. I just think there weren't enough people to get behind the idea. But she kills these roles. She's not a terrible actress, Cynthia Rothrock. It's just that in films like these, you don't really expect amazing acting in the first place, so she kind of gets a pass. But like, yeah, I think she did a great job here. And Kurt McKinney as well. I think he does well in the role, and I really liked him. there's another thing with the fights in this film. Other than like the choreography not being the best, the sound effects aren't the best either. And this film has an overabundance of sound effects. I don't know why. There's literally a scene where Cynthia Rothrock is like trying to take aspirin, and she like hits the top of the pill bottle against her hand, and it's like, and then she's like, which, like, why do we need that? We can see with her face that she's displeased that there's no aspirin. And then she throws it, and you hear like maybe if you hear this, like, that's what you hear. And I'm like, why do we need that? Not the scene. The scene's fine, whatever. But, like, why do we need to both... Why do we need to hear it? I don't understand. And this movie has really odd sound effects at many points. There's a point where... Again, in the fight scene behind the liquor store, in the liquor store, there's a bit where she like wraps all these guys up with tape, and you hear like this really overdone like duct tape sound, and then like it cuts to like, sorry, and her wrapping them up, and then one of the guys like pants her down, and then he like farts in the other guy's face, but the fart sound is like a horse sound. It's, I don't know what the hell happened. Maybe it's first time director syndrome. I don't know. Maybe that's the issue, but yeah, that somebody should have seen this and been like, yeah, maybe we should redo that sound effect. But like, again, this film has its moments where I actually felt, I actually felt bad for the characters, where the emotions actually hit. There's a scene of a sort of side character dying that actually I actually felt for. I had emotions. And this movie is so close to being an 8. Without the horrible music at some points, this could have been an 8. And Cynthia Rothrock almost gets it there with her acting. Almost gets it to an 8. But I just can't bring myself to, given that the choreography is a bit lacking. It really is. And if it's people who love Cynthia Rothrock movies and have seen films of hers like Guardian Angel, Undefeatable, even Martial Law 2, and I wasn't the hugest fan of Martial Law 2. I liked it, but I definitely saw that there was room for improvement in many points. Even then, I'd say Martial Law 2 is a better film than this. Maybe not Martial Law 1, because, color completely changed. Because Chad McQueen isn't a good actor. But yeah, I don't hate this film. I think I'm more interested in the concept than I liked the film. But still, I think... I wonder if there's like a separate cut of this film, because apparently there's a separate cut of Undefeatable called Bloody Mary Killer that's like completely different at many points. I don't know. Maybe I'll watch it sometime. But yeah. Get to the pros and the cons. Pros. Cynthia Rothrock's performance definitely is a big pro for this film. Kurt McKinney, Tony LaBianco, Brad Dourif's small scene, Mako's scenes. There's a really good fight. The best fight of the film is her against this Asian dude in the car park. That was a really well done fight. The rest of the fights are alright. It's not like they're horribly choreographed. It's just that I feel Art Camacho is a very meh fight choreographer. When he's doing like the normal direction, like in Recoil, I thought Recoil was awesome. So I don't know what happened. Again, the chemistry between Cynthia Rothrock and Kurt McKinney was well done. I believed them as a couple. The film moves along at a decent pace. There's some really cool directorial flourishes or editing flourishes. The cutting back to the past, there's a scene where Jana holds up a folder to her face and then pulls it back down, and then she's in another scene. I like that. I like that kind of shit. Um, Cons, again, it feels like two different people are directing this film, and many out of place comedic elements at times. Really bad sound effects work at many points. I think Undefeatable had better sound effects, and that's pretty bad. Again, a lot of the fight scenes lack a lot of weight. The main villain, Eugene, played by Ken Scott, is very blah. He doesn't get a lot of character development or any type of development other than he has a brother that he works with. I kind of wish that the sister and nephew at the beginning had like at least a couple scenes for us to get to know them better, because the beginning of the movie does kind of feel like we're coming in like 10 minutes into the film, or maybe even 15, so maybe there was stuff cut out. I don't know. Again, the score by John Coda is very big mixed bag. And yeah, I really do like the concept of this film, and if you like Cynthia Rothrock's films, give it a look, I guess, at least to see her performance. But yeah, it's not a high recommend or anything. I'm just saying, and also she looks gorgeous in this film. This is like the most gorgeous she ever looked. So, I guess watch for that too. But hope you enjoy my review of Sworn to Justice. If you like the videos, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, and movie reviewer next door out.